Hey guys, this is my 2024 Hyundai i30N. I've had this car now for almost a year. I've put about 12,500 Ks on it. And here's 5 good things and bad things about this car as an owner. Also, apologies, there's crows screaming, and I'm also near an amusement park, so if you can hear screaming as well, then that's what that is. First thing I love about this car is the way it looks. I was looking at the i30 sedan, the i30N sedan. Problem with the sedan is that it was really long and it was just like quite droopy, whereas I like how compact and short and stubby this thing looks, especially at the back. It looks really good. I've previously owned Volkswagen Golfs. I had a Volkswagen Golf 8 and I actually had a Golf R on order, and I actually cancelled that order just because I thought, you know, this car is $20,000 or less than a Golf R, and it just literally gave you more smiles compared to the Golf R. So yeah, I went Korean and got an i30N. Also, I have never in my life gutter rashed a car before, but it's not good. It was actually on the rear, so I swapped the tyres around, obviously, to wear them out, or for better wear, and yeah, that's not good. I've got some quotes to fix it, but I just haven't been bothered to get it done. You know, it doesn't actually, if you stand back, you can't really notice it, so it's not that big of a deal. The second thing I love about this car is the sound, of course. It's probably the best sounding stock hot hatch on the market. Like, it actually sounds awesome, especially if you like put it into N mode. You know, it makes a good noise. To be honest though, I usually just drive it in either normal mode or eco mode. I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of N drivers, who are like, how the fuck can you drive around an i30N in normal mode? And I'm like, well, I don't know, I just, you know, the sporty drive is great, but I like to be able to, you know, have a normal car as well, just with the performance, and you know, I don't always want to have the firm ride and the loud exhaust. The third thing I love about this car is the performance. It is awesome. Like, it's actually, you know, it's got 260 kilowatts of power. I've only used the NGS overboost mode a couple of times, and holy shit, it will seriously pull you into your seat. Obviously, being a front-wheel drive, it will lose traction pretty easily, especially if you're doing a launch or it's wet outside. But if you're actually moving and you want to do an overtake, this thing has so much power. I think, looking at some independent tests, I think it does 60 to 110 in the exact same time as a Golf 8R. So that mid-range, you know, when you're actually moving, the performance is exceptional. I've never actually tracked this car before. I've only ever just driven it around as a daily. I would like to do a track day in it. In Australia, Hyundai do actually offer non-competitive racing as part of the warranty. So that's awesome. I love that they actually care about the enthusiast who actually wants to take their i30N on the track, but I still haven't actually used that before. The next thing that I love about this car is just the interior. I love, in the world of digital and, you know, freaking screens galore and no buttons, and the Volkswagen Golf having the stupid haptic buttons here, there and everywhere, I just love it. It's so refreshing coming into a car that still has a mechanical handbrake, an actual gear shifter, physical buttons, physical air conditioning controls, and analog dials. Don't get me wrong, I love technology, I love, you know, new cars and whatnot, but having just normal analog dials with a traditional digital speedo is fantastic. I love the interior design. I think it looks a little bit cheap considering the price, but especially these seats with the light up and at night time, I think they're awesome. And I also love the full panoramic sunroof as well, which, to be honest, admittedly, I never actually drive with the sunroof open. I do have this, like, steering wheel cover, which, I don't know, I kind of like it, but at the same time, I kind of don't. I don't like the feeling of leather, so this is like a rubbery texture. I'm actually just going to take it off because I haven't seen what the wheel looks like without it. I don't know, my hands always sweat, so I don't like touching the leather when I have sweaty hands. That's why I have this protector on it. I've also got these all-weather mats as well that just go over the traditional i30N mats. It's mainly because of like sand and going to the beach and whatnot. It just collects, and it's much easier to clean a rubber mat than the carpet. I also love the connectivity of this car. The the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto works really, really good. It is through a wire. It's not wireless, unfortunately, but still, it's it offers you a great you literally just plug in your phone and it just works. I've been in so many other cars where that's not the case, and they, you have to pair it, and then you can't just disconnect it really easily, and it's a faff. Whereas this system is actually really good, and I love the fact that you can go into, the actual N features and look at the power and the coolant and the speed and all that sort of stuff in actual detail, and you can obviously customize N mode and custom the way you want it to be. The last thing that I like about this car are the seats. I mentioned this just before, but these seats are so comfortable and they're really good, great bolstering. And in Australia, you can get the traditional seats that don't have the bucket design. And in my opinion, they look pretty shit, whereas these ones are actually really good. They are manual seats. They don't have any lumbar adjustment, but to be honest, they're so good, I don't think they even need it. And as well, because the seats are so thin, you actually get a lot of extra rear leg room. Literally, these seats are so thin. They kind of remind me of like an AMG or an M seat, but yeah, they're awesome. I forgot to mention this as well, but the strut brace in the back here is awesome. I love having that strut brace there. I've actually scratched it a little bit, like carrying stuff in the boot, but it looks so cool, and I reckon it integrates into the boot so much better in the hatch compared to the sedan. In terms of things that I don't like about this car, definitely the fuel consumption is the worst. It's like, I think my long-term average is like 8.5 litres per 100, but that's driving in eco mode very conservatively. You will see like mid-teens, 12, 13, 14, maybe even 15 litres per 100 if you're driving around the city. On the highway, if you just set the cruise control to say 110 k's an hour, you'll probably see about mid-sixes, like 6.5, 6.7 is pretty normal. The next thing that I don't like is that there's no rear air vents and there's no phone charger at all in the back seat. I sometimes have my dog in the back with like a hammock, and on a hot summer's day, there is no ventilation back here at all. There's some vents under the seats, but literally they do nothing. So it's kind of annoying that for 50 grand, 50,000 Australian dollars, that you don't at least get a rear air vent. I think that's because of the mechanical handbrake takes up that space, but I don't know, it's just nice to have it, and that's one thing that I do miss from my Golf. The next thing that I don't like about this car is, although I love the sound, it can get a little bit annoying, especially if you're trying to start up the car, at 6 o'clock in the morning and you've got neighbors. There is no quiet mode for the exhaust unless you're actually moving. You can't make the valves close when the car is stationary, which means that every cold start is the loudest cold start. I'll insert a clip so that way you can hear what the cold start sounds like. So yeah, there's been a couple of times where that car, the cold start is just so loud, and I can't, there's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. And I don't know, like every other car that has a bimodal exhaust will allow you to, make the exhaust quieter when you're doing a cold start. Speaking of exhaust as well, there's a exhaust rattle happening somewhere in the rear muffler or the heat shielding, and it's never been fixed under warranty by Hyundai. It's been in the dealership like 3 or 4 times. I can't explain it, but it's like this little vibration rattle, and it sounds like a heat shielding that's vibrating, and I can't get it fixed for some stupid reason. They've replaced the entire rear muffler, they've replaced other bits like the valve spring, and it just won't fix it. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's, after a year, it still hasn't been fixed. The last thing that I don't like about this car is the sound system. I think it's only got like a 6-speaker sound system. There's only like a speaker there and up in the window, and obviously all around the car, but the sound system just lacks a lot of clarity. There's not much bass to it, and if you go over like volume, say 25, is when the speakers start to get distorted, and it's just annoying not having, you know, a good sound system compared to, say, the sedan, which comes with a Bose system. Even just having like a Bose sound system would have been awesome, but this sound system is really, really shit, to be honest, in the hatch. I know a lot of people have put in like aftermarket JBL systems and whatnot. I've thought about doing it, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be keeping this car for very long. And that's not because it's a bad car. It's just because I myself don't keep cars very long, and I always, you know, change between different models. I get bored of cars pretty easily. So, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to keep this one for, but it's been a great car to just drive around for the last year. And it's offered me an actual proper performance car that gives me a smile on my face when I drive it properly. When I bought this car, the new facelifted version of the hatch had come out, which gives you like the full analog, digital dials, and I think some other like updates like the traffic sign recognition and whatnot, and connected services. And although I had the option to go to the updated model, the 2025 model, I decided to go with this one just because it had the old school dials. It didn't have the intelligent speed assist, which chimes every time you go over the speed limit. This car is just, you know, the right amount of new technology, but also old school technology. I do wish it had connective services, just so that way I could do like remote start on my phone and whatnot. But yeah, I'm really glad I went with this model instead of the 2025. But don't get me wrong, the 2025 is a great car, but yeah, it just wasn't for me. Oh, and on the subject of fuel consumption, you can see there, since driving, 23.5 kilometers I've done. It hasn't been, you know, I've just been like putting around the city and whatnot, but 11.4 liters per 100 is real world. So that's a little bit disappointing, but the average across like the last, say, 4,000 or 5,000 Ks has been 8.6, and that's a mix of highway and city driving. So yeah, if you're planning on buying one of these cars, you will be filling it up, and it does also have quite a small fuel tank, which means that your range, like for example, I filled up this morning and I'm only going to get 534 Ks out of 50 liters. So those are the 5 things that I love and hate about my 2024 Hyundai i30N. If you're in the market for one of these, I would highly recommend it. It's a fantastic car that'll put a huge smile on your face. So yeah, definitely a contender if that's what you're after.